Testing, testing. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing well. How is everything? Haven't sat down and filmed in like a week because I just wasn't feeling it last week. So you saw that footage of me and Sarah. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and click that link up above. Love that girl. Sarah, if you're watching this, love you so much. Thank you for always giving me a good time and giving the people what they want. You guys responded really well to that video, so yeah, it's cool. But we're getting back to skincare related content today. I hope that's a-okay. Today we will be talking about something that I'm very passionate about, and it's the environment. Well, okay, let me screen back. So a lot of people, when I ask them about skincare, they ask me for products that I recommend that are natural and clean and all of that stuff, and I was just like, well, I don't really like partake in that type of skincare. I usually just go with what my gut says, like I said in the last video, but I thought I wanted to, you know, sit down and talk about it. I feel like maybe there's a point to this green movement. So if you want to know my thoughts, stay tuned. Skincare is my hobby, not my job. I am not a doctor, dermatologist, or esthetician. If anything I say in this video is incorrect, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Awesome. Okay, now let's get started. So the green movement, the clean beauty movement. What is clean beauty? Let's see. So when you think clean, you think safe, you think good to use, you think natural, you think all those things when clean beauty comes to mind. But let's see what Google says clean beauty means. So I looked up clean beauty definition. Clean beauty is defined by products that are mindfully created and produced without any proven or suspected toxic ingredients. Clean beauty products include ingredients ethically sourced and are made with the health of our bodies and the environment in mind. So this is what Google says clean beauty is, but that's a very broad statement. So the clean beauty movement is a funny one to me. I always feel like it's a kind of a controversial subject. There are two spectrums on the clean beauty. One is super clean. We barely use anything. We use all that natural stuff. Like if they could go outside, dig their oranges out of the ground and put it on their face, that they would. So I do realize I said oranges grow out of the ground, but I meant like oranges, pick them from a tree and like on their face. And then there's a clean beauty who is more like, oh, like you can use chemicals and everything, but you just have to do it in a safe way, which makes sense. But there are two opposite spectrums of the clean beauty movement, and they both have super strong opinions. By the end of this video, what I want you to do is to look for yourself how you feel about clean beauty and look at the facts and come up with a very comprehensive idea of what clean beauty is and what you're putting into your body. One thing that I love about clean beauty is it questions what's going into your body. So sometimes they look at products and they're like, you know what, we don't want this in it. We don't want parabens, we don't want sulfates, we don't want phthalates in our products. Why are they looking at this? I think it's great to question what's going into your product. So the way that the FDA operates, their jurisdiction over skincare is a little different than it is over traditional food and drugs. When a product says, hey, we're a product that gets like 99% of the darkness away, they don't regulate claims like that. So it's up to you as the consumer to do your research and or trust the company that is marketing that product to you and trust them that the product is doing what they say it's gonna do. So it's kind of like, okay, so like I have to become an esthetician or a dermatologist to know what's going into my body. No, thankfully Google is out there, and estheticians like the ones that I list in the description boxes all tell us information that they have gathered in a more digestible format. They went to school or they went to technical school for all those things. You know, I'm just here. I just do this for my hobby. I like to read on my own. But if you need information fast, it's always good to go refer to somebody that works in the field. All that to say, you have to do your research. I'm not saying that companies are trying to deceive you. I'm not saying that companies are trying to lead you in a certain direction. But what I am saying is that you do need to be careful about what you consume, because something might be bad for your skin or might be damaging your skin and you don't even know it. So how do we tell? That's the hard part. A lot of the things have to do with like looking on the back of ingredient boxes, doing research on the company and how they source things. All products can be said, they can say anything, and the FDA won't regulate them. So it's up to us to research and check if what the product is doing is saying what they are doing. Now, I'm not saying any company is out there to hurt you, but they are out there to market to you. There's a term called greenwashing, and I will read the Google definition. Greenwashing is the process of conveying a false impression of providing misleading information about how a company's products are more environmentally sound. Greenwashing is considered an unsubstantiated claim to deceive customers into believing that a company's products are environmentally friendly. And a product might say, we are environmentally friendly, we have sustained all of our product from XYZ, and therefore we are a green product. Now, does that really have anything to do with how the product works, what ingredients go into the product? And what if it's a company that doesn't really tell you where they source their ingredients? So they can say, oh, this is made of beach plastics or something like that. But if they don't really show you proof, there's really no way that you know that product is being ethically sourced. So an example of greenwashing would be like, I came out with a shampoo and I know that the green movement is really big right now. I know that teens love to recycle. So you know what? Even though all my plastics are made from plastic that I own, and 0.2%, let's just say 2% is made out of recycled plastics, I'm gonna up that, and I'm gonna make sure to put that in the marketing so people are gonna buy my product. So Felicia's green shampoo, what makes it green? We take plastic from ethically sourced ways. We take plastic from the beaches and we put it in your product. So your product is essentially contributing to the green movement. That would be greenwashing. And you want to avoid companies like that who have marketing ploys like that. It's not all companies. Some companies really do use 95% beach plastic in their bottles, but they usually are very transparent in how they say it. You can go to their website and it'll have how they have cleanup parties, or like sometimes they donate proceeds, or sometimes they even show you the process itself. So you just have to be very, very, very careful with that. Greenwashing is just a way that companies play up on environment things to get you to buy their product. Make sense? So what I am trying to do today, the goal of this video is trying to educate you enough so you don't get fooled and you put your dollar where you think it belongs. Because I always say that you vote with your dollar. If you buy a bunch of product from a company that doesn't align with the values that you are continuing that company and empowering it to continue that behavior. I always think it's a very good idea. We can't fight these corporations. I can't go up to XYZ corporation and be like, listen, you guys are doing something wrong, fix it now. They're gonna look at me, laugh, give me $1,000 and let me leave. So you vote with your dollars. So if all of us band together and we don't buy from an unethical company, then they have no power. The customers give you power. You are the powerful one, so don't forget. So I talked a little bit about greenwashing. I talked about the clean beauty movement and how confusing and ambiguous it is. Now I want to talk about the big three: parabens, sulfates, and phthalates. So how all of this started, I watched a beauty video from Beauty Within, and they have two girls. They're super pretty. But there are two girls, Felicia, and I believe her name is Rowena, and they talk about the big three. This is where I got most, if not all, of my information from, and I also clicked the links in the description box they gave. So I'll have that description box copied and pasted, or I'll have their video linked below that I took for reference of this video. So now I want you to think of products that you've seen that say no parabens, sulfates, or phthalates in their product. I want you to think of a product like that. Remember that Verse serum that I had? That one claims to have no parabens, sulfates, and phthalates, and I honestly didn't know what that meant. I picked it up and I was like, you know what? That's good. I don't want that nasty stuff in my products anyway. But what we need to do is really question why those products are put in there in the first place. The people making those products in the lab know more about parabens, phthalates, and sulfates than I do. Like, any chemical can be harmful at a certain degree. Too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So like carbon dioxide, for instance. We inhale oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not necessarily the best chemical for us, but it's good for plants. Plants breathe out oxygen and plants breathe in carbon dioxide. So we are not going to say that carbon dioxide is bad, because that's not true. But too much carbon dioxide can cause some damage. Makes sense? So I feel like that's the same in skincare ingredients. Too many parabens in the skincare ingredients, I'm pretty sure would be a bad thing, but not any different from having too much of another ingredient in there. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to give that analogy to give where I'm coming from, where these products, these three, the big three that have so much controversy around them, might not be as bad as we think they are. They really could be, but you have to do research and look at the chemistry and see why they were put in your product. So let's start off with parabens. Parabens are preservatives. I have my notes down here. Parabens are preservatives. A lot of people are concerned about parabens because they affect the hormones of the body. They affect the hormones and put it off. But all parabens are is they preserve your product. So if parabens weren't in your product, they would essentially mold really fast, or the ingredients will expire and become less effective. A perfect example of this is vitamin C. Vitamin C in its most raw form is very, the word's not unreliable. Vitamin C in its unstable. Vitamin C in its purest form is very unstable. Because it's unstable, it needs to be kept away from light. It needs to be put in special temperatures and special bottles. It needs to have a shelf life that's probably shorter in order to give the best. So that's why brands put parabens in vitamin C serums to make sure that you're able to get as much use out of that vitamin C serum as possible. Does that make sense? So parabens aren't necessarily bad. So when it says it has no parabens, it has to go through another means to preserve that product, or again, your product will have mold in it, because skincare is made out of water. And what happens when you leave sitting water? What happens when you leave sitting water? Mold. And we don't want that to happen. So that's why parabens are mostly included in products. Some examples I will put up on the screen. You know what? We'll look them up now. So I'm gonna Google paraben examples just real quick. Methylparaben, propylparaben, isoparaben, isobutylparaben, sodium butylparaben. Those seem like some parabens. I just looked up paraben examples, screenshotted on the screen. Hopefully I read that okay. I'll put them up here. So when you turn over the package and you look at the label and you see something isopropyl paraben, those are your parabens. So that's how to identify if the paraben is in your skincare. Whether it's good or bad, I feel like you should do further research, or it depends on the product type of thing. Like I'm not gonna sit here in this video and tell you not to use parabens, not to use sulfates, not to use phthalates. So I wanted to interject here. I said, like, do your research. Like, parabens are bad. I won't say that because that's not what I believe, and that's a false statement. But the FDA did say on their website that Scientists continue to review published studies on the safety of parabens. At this time, we do not have information showing that parabens, as they are used in cosmetics, have an effect on human health. So take that with what you may. I think that's silly, and I think that science is our friend and education is our friend. We need to really be careful of our consumption, which is what I love the green movement for, the green and the clean beauty movement for. But also we need to be reasonable and know that chemists aren't out there to hurt us. Chemists are out there to help us get our skin healthy. Some more than others. Some prioritize marketing over ingredients, I will admit, but that's why we do our research and we don't vote with our dollar and we don't engage in those products. Moving on. So that is parabens and how you identify them in your product. The next one I want to talk about is sulfates. So I know we've all heard of sulfates, mainly in shampoo and hair. Sulfates are salts that react from sulfuric acid that clean the surface level of the skin. A lot of people are very concerned about sulfates because they can thin the top layer of the skin and also are regarded as carcinogens or carcinogenic. I think, if my research is correct, sulfates can be carcinogenic at certain concentrations, but they don't put that concentration in your skincare products. So have you ever seen a shampoo that's like, we don't have sulfates in the shampoo? That's because sulfates can be super stripping and super drying to the skin if used too much. This is a true claim. Sulfates really can damage the skin in terms of stripping that top layer too much. So if you have more sensitive skin or if you have dry skin, maybe stay away from the sulfates or limit the amount of sulfates that you use. And if you see sulfates in some of your skincare products, be sure to account extra for it at the end of your skincare routine to repair that barrier or find another product altogether. So it has sulfate or something to the equivalent of that. So you have sodium, I'm not even going to try that, sodium C1416, olefin sulfonate, sodium castinate, sodium laureth sulfate, sodium myreth sulfate, sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium lauryl sulfosetate. Did y'all hear all of that? There's no way I would look on the back of a product and know what the fuck those meant. Like, there's no freaking way. So what I suggest is to get that Think Dirty app that I showed in my last video. Once you download the app, you can scan something and it'll give you a reason why they say that ingredient is bad, and then you can do further research beyond that. Yeah, so those are sulfates. Dang, that was a lot. So phthalates, why are phthalates the talk of the town? Phthalates are the talk of the town because some studies have suggested that phthalates are bad for the reproductive system, they're bad for development in children and in men. Now, the FDA says that this isn't scientifically proven, like there's no evidence that long-term phthalate use does all of these things, but people hear phthalates and they go, so like it's just like, you know, better safe than sorry type of thing. I personally don't have a stand on phthalates. I don't check for them in my products. I need to get better about checking ingredients for my products because, listen, let me break it down for y'all. I am fresh out of college and I am employed, kind of. I am fresh out of college. I have student debt to pay for. I have bills to pay. I have a life to live. I feel like being objective about my skincare products is something that is a privilege because some people can't even afford the drugstore stuff. The drugstore stuff isn't cheap anymore. It's not like all $5, $3. Like a good cleanser is $12. A good moisturizer is $20. And that might not be a lot to somebody with like a stable career, but that's a lot for a college student in general. So I really want to be practical when it comes to my skincare. I don't check my ingredients as much as I should as I'm getting older, or as I'm getting more into the skincare thing, because it's my hobby and because I'm spreading information to people like you watching. I feel like I need to be more objective, and I feel like I need to learn. But listen, sometimes you gotta say fuck it and just grab the Neutrogena off the shelf. And that's not to say Neutrogena uses any of these products. That's not to say that at all. It's just like sometimes, like, you know, you just got to do what you have to do. So keep that in mind as you're listening to me talk about these 3 different ingredients. All right, cool. So phthalates, phthalate, DHP, dibutyl phthalate, dinoctyl phthalate, disonoyl phthalate, diethyl phthalate, benzyl butyl phthalate. There are a lot of, when you turn over the label, those are the names that you have to think of. I will put them on screen because no, that's why. And those are phthalates, and you know. So now that I've talked about the big 3, what do I want you to take away from this video? What I want you to take away from this video is to be objective about what you're consuming. And that's not just in skincare, that is everything. You vote for it with your dollar. So wherever you're spending money for is the companies that are having the power, and you're enabling them to continue whatever behavior they are doing. So a very good company that I love, I just love e.l.f. I think they're doing great things for the beauty industry. I think they make products that work at an affordable price that you can buy for your teenage daughter who is just getting into makeup and doesn't need an ABH palette, or for people on a budget who want to feel pretty but they're not that into makeup. I just think their company is so great. They're vegan, save animals when you can, love that stuff. And I put my dollar to them because I really stand for what I believe in. I wouldn't put my money into a company that I know is doing things to invoke harm in some way, whether intentionally or not intentionally. We really need to hold these big corporations responsible, okay? And like I said, this won't happen overnight, but if you vote with your dollar, who has the power now, right? Right. I think that's all I have to say. I want to go back to greenwashing for a second. Greenwashing, so be careful with the things that have those big claims. Just because a product is sustainable, just because they're like, oh, we use 99% of we use 99% of beach plastics to make this bottle that's in your hand. Oh, great. We want to give our money to them, but if the product doesn't work, the product doesn't work. So be sure to check on both ends, because marketers are really out there, you know, trying to get your coin. And don't be mad at a company for using greenwashing techniques or using clean beauty techniques, because at the end of the day, we're out here to get money and make sure that our pockets are full, right? I just feel like companies do what they have to do. I feel like some companies do things better than others, and that's why they're ahead. Or some people do things shadier than others, Fashion Nova. So, you know, just I have filmed this outro so many times. Literally, please just support ethical brands. It is not that hard. There are plenty out there at different price points that are doing good things. e.l.f. being one of them. Who's a high-end brand that's doing good? Kiehl's, they're really big into being green. First Aid Beauty, I hear really good things about. People like them, and not people like Fashion Nova who steal from young Black creators. But I'm not going to put that in. Or am I? Don't even get me started on fast fashion. All right, I feel like that's where we need to end this video, and hopefully I can use Felicia in the future to wrap up any loose ends. But thank you so much for listening to me today. If there is anything in this video that I said that you have more questions on, please leave them in the comments down below. Do you check the ingredients after this video? And how do you feel about clean beauty? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to be reading my description box. I put a lot of goodies in there. and more information expanding on what I say. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Felicia, and I'm saying bye for now. Bye, guys. Y'all, I'm trying a new look today, and I don't know how I feel about her. Like, I love the slick back look, but I needed a little something to cover the face, but also my hair is cut like this way, so it's a whole damn mess. But I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let me.